Happy Tuesday!
How's everybody doing out there? Happy December 8th. Gosh, can you believe it? We're already a week into this month and the year is quickly coming to a close. So, gosh, hope you're doing well and you're ready to finish December strong. And we're going to talk to you about a few things, but let's rock out in December. What do you say?
So this is the second video of the series in December on what the heck's an OBM, why do you need one, what do they do all day, where do you find one, blah, blah, blah. So last week we told you what an OBM was, what it stands for, why you might be interested in anything we're talking about. And this week we're going to tell you the difference between an OBM, which is an online business manager, versus a VA, which is a virtual assistant or a virtual admin, depending on what the heck you want to call them.
Yeah, so you run an online or a virtual business, right? You're a coach, you provide some sort of a service, and you may have VAs in this particular case, the virtual assistants, all over the country, all over the world, doing various parts of your business, right? So you might have a VA that is specializing in creating social media content for you. You might have a VA that's focused on doing lead generation, doing engagement on various social media platforms. You may have a VA that's doing various administrative tasks that you do in your business, but that doesn't mean that they work with you, meaning you don't have your team sitting around in an office where you're able to kind of check in on them and hold them accountable and see what they're doing. That is where an OBM comes in. The online business manager is the bridge between you as the owner of your virtual based business and whatever number of VAs you may have. You may have 3, you may have 10, you may have 20 doing all kinds of tasks for your business. And the OBM, or in the traditional corporate world, would be like the COO, the Chief Operations Officer, is responsible for overseeing the execution and operation of all of those VAs that are on your team, whether they're direct employees or contracted employees. They're on your team and they've been hired to perform specific tasks. And while some owners may have the ability to juggle the things that they're doing in their business and manage that quite well and manage the various VAs and ensure efficiency, what we have found is that more often than not, they can't, or they get overwhelmed because they're in the business of growing their business, they're creating strategy, they're doing coaching, they're doing consulting. And so their amount of time to follow up on administrative tasks with their various VAs becomes very, very limited. And so that's where the OBM would step in and assume that responsibility, ensuring that all of the VAs at various tasks and responsibilities are executing their tasks and their jobs appropriately, on time, with efficiency, maximizing the investment that you're making in them to perform those tasks for you, and then report back to you as the owner. And vice versa. It's for the owner to be able to communicate to the VAs through an online business manager or the OBM, so that the owner isn't having to reach out and have, 3 to 15 different one-on-one meetings, but rather one meeting with the OBM, and can trust and ensure that that information is going to be properly dispersed down to the team based on the necessary responsibilities.
So if you're going to compare that to a physical place, it would be like the equivalent of, Target. Like Target has a store manager, right? And then under the store manager, there are these little department heads, jewelry, I don't know what they call the departments, home goods, food, whatever.
Yeah, a better example would be the supermarket, because they kind of created the idea of the defined roles and responsibilities, right?
Really? The supermarket?
Absolutely. So think about it. You go in, you've got the overall store manager, store director, whatever you want to call them. You have a produce manager, you've got the deli manager, you got the bakery manager, you've got a cashier manager, you've maybe got a non-foods manager, you've got a pharmacy manager, you got the frozen food manager. So basically the idea is for the store director to be able to go to the various team leads. In this case, what we're talking about is for the OBM to go to the various VAs that are responsible for whatever task within your business and communicate information. So above the store manager in the supermarket analogy would be, we'll call it the owner, or maybe there's a regional manager, regional director, regional executive who maybe has more than one store, but it's the same concept. So it enables you to waterfall the information down rather than just dumping it all at once, but you can bring it down in tiers and in layers. So, so that the owner can give direction with strategy, clear-cut expectations directly to the OBM. So in the example, we use the supermarket, the OBM would go to this VA and say, here are the things that I need you to work on. Here's what your task, here's your responsibility, here's your deadlines, here's when I need to have follow-up, et cetera, et cetera. They would go on to the next VA or the next person on the team and explain those, just like the store director would. He or she isn't going to go to the bakery manager and talk to the bakery manager about what's going on in the cashier department or in the frozen food section, because that's not their job, it's not their responsibility. And so it increases efficiency, because if you have a bunch of people on your team and you're having a conversation about one particular topic or section of your business, 10 other people don't need to hear that if that's not what their responsibilities are.
That's the problem with meetings in general.
Absolutely correct. And group coaching in general.
You have to hear about everybody else's problem. So to wrap up real quick, the difference between an OBM versus a VA is basically, we're going to call the OBM the like head ringleader under an owner or a corporation or whatever your business is. And then the VA is the person under that. And I'm not saying that one of those people is more trained or more educated than the other. In general, they have a different role. And that is a question that leads into next week's live, which is, do you need an OBM or do you need a VA? Like, what's the difference? How do you know which one to use? How do you know who to hire first? And sadly, this time we're going to tell you the same thing as what we told you the first week. It depends. And you're like, gosh, Hillary, Randy, that's not very helpful. Well, it depends on what your business is, whether, you know, what your needs are, what you're trying to solve. Like, what is your problem right now? What's your fire?
Yeah, we'll tune in next week. We'll give you several different examples of maybe when an OBM is more what you need versus when maybe just a VA is what you need. And we'll give you a couple of examples.
So, happy Tuesday. Stay safe.